Have you ever felt like the ground just vanished under your feet? Like one moment you're standing tall and the next you're free falling into a pit of hurt you never saw coming? That's exactly what happened to me on a rainy Tuesday evening. I was curled up on my couch sipping tea when my phone buzzed. It was my cousin Lisa, the one who's always been like a big sister to me. Her voice was shaky, almost whispering, as if she was afraid the walls could hear. Emily, she said, I didn't know if I should tell you this, but your sister's engagement party, it's tonight. At the old family estate, everyone's there. Your parents, they said it was just a small get-together. But it's not, it's huge, and you're not invited. My heart stopped. Engagement party? For Sarah, my own sister, the word betrayed doesn't even cover it. It was like a knife twisting slow in my chest. I hung up the phone, my hands trembling, and stared at the wall. How could this be happening? Sarah and I had our fights, sure, growing up she was the golden child, the one mom and dad always praised. But we were family, blood, or so I thought. That night I didn't sleep. Questions swirled in my head like a storm. Why me? What had I done to deserve this? And worst of all, why would my parents lie? By morning, the anger had set in hot and fierce, but beneath it, there was this quiet resolve building. I wasn't going to let this break me. No, this was the spark that would light my fire. Little did they know, the truth has a way of burning brighter than any lie. As the days blurred into weeks, I started piecing it together. Flashbacks to our childhood flooded my mind, Sarah stealing my spotlight at every school play, Mom cooing over her straight A's while mine got a pat on the back, Dad always saying, Sarah's the future, you're the steady one. Steady, like I was just the backup plan. But an engagement party, that's not steady, that's erasure. I decided I had to confront them, not with screams or tears, but with the cold truth. Because if they could shut me out, I could open the door to everything they'd hidden. And trust me, there were secrets in that family big enough to topple empires. Let me take you back a bit to where it all started, or at least where the cracks first showed. Our family wasn't perfect, but it looked like it from the outside. Picture this, a cozy suburban home in Maplewood with white picket fences and Sunday barbecues that made the neighbors jealous. Mom was the queen of the kitchen, baking pies that could win hearts, and Dad was the rock, coaching our little league teams with that booming laugh of his. Sarah came first, 2 years ahead of me. From day one, she was the star, golden curls, big blue eyes, and a smile that lit up rooms. Our little princess, Mom would say, dressing her in frilly outfits while I got hand-me-downs that smelled like mothballs. I didn't mind at first. I was the explorer, the one climbing trees and scraping knees, coming home with stories that made Dad chuckle. Emily's got spirit, he'd say, but spirit doesn't pay the bills, I guess. As we grew, the divide deepened. Sarah aced high school, got into the best college on a scholarship. Me, I worked 2 jobs to afford community college, studying nursing because it was practical. You'll make a great nurse, Mom said once, but her eyes were on Sarah's acceptance letter, and the boys, oh, don't get me started. Sarah dated the quarterback, I got the quiet guy from debate club who ghosted me after prom. But we had moments, Sarah and I late-night talks under the covers, sharing dreams. She'd whisper about running away to the city, and I'd promise to visit. Sisters forever, we'd say, pinky swearing like it meant something unbreakable. Then college hit and the calls faded. She'd post glamorous photos from parties, I'd like them from my tiny apartment, thumbs up to a life I wasn't part of. Fast forward to last year, Sarah started dating this guy, Mark, a slick lawyer type with a smile too perfect. They announced their engagement on Instagram, all champagne and sunsets. I called to congratulate her, heart swelling with real joy. Can't wait for the wedding, I said. She laughed, light and airy. Oh, it'll be small, you know how we are, small. That's what planted the seed of doubt. Now hearing about this get-together, that was anything but. It wasn't just a snub, it was a pattern woven through years of favoritism. My parents had always chosen her, but this was the final cut. I felt the weight of it all crashing down, every overlooked birthday, every maybe next time excuse. Tears came then, hot and silent, soaking my pillow. But as the sun rose, so did something else. A plan, not revenge in the angry, reckless way. No, this would be justice, served with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. Because if they could build a wall around their perfect family, I'd find the hidden door and walk right through. The days after that phone call felt like walking through fog, thick, disorienting, full of shadows that might grab you. I went through the motions at work, bandaging wounds while mine festered inside. Patients would smile at me saying, "You're a natural healer," and I'd force a grin thinking, if only I could fix this mess. But every night I'd scroll through social media, watching the fallout from the party I wasn't part of. There it was, photos flooding in. Sarah in a sleek white dress, Mark's arm around her, toasting with crystal glasses under fairy lights. Mom beaming like she'd won the lottery, Dad clapping Mark on the back. Hashtags like future in-laws and family bliss, not one mention of me. I was the ghost in their fairy tale, erased with a swipe. Then came the texts, casual like nothing happened. Mom, how's work, sweetie? Made your famous lasagna yet? Dad, game on Sunday, bring snacks. As if I wouldn't notice the elephant in the room, I stared at those messages, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Part of me wanted to scream, how could you? But I held back. Knowledge is power, they say, and I needed more before I struck. So I called Lisa again. Tell me everything, I pleaded. She hesitated, then spilled. It wasn't just family, old friends, colleagues, even distant aunts from across the country. Over 100 people, catered food, a live band, and the toast. Mom had stood up, glass raised, and said, "To Sarah and Mark, our pride and joy, you've made us so happy." Pride and joy, not a word about the sister who'd held her hand through every breakup, who'd lent her my car for dates, who'd always been there. "Why wasn't I invited?" I asked, voice cracking. Lisa sighed. "Your mom said it was to keep things light. Emily's going through a lot," she told me. "Work stress," like that excused it. Work stress, I'd just gotten a promotion, the first big win in years. But to them, I was the problem child, the one who didn't fit the picture. That lie ignited something fierce in me. I started digging old emails, forgotten voicemails. Turns out this wasn't isolated. Remember Sarah's college graduation? I flew in only to find out it was family only and I wasn't immediate enough. Or my birthday last year, they threw a dinner for Sarah's promotion the same night, forgetting to tell me. Patterns, cruel, quiet patterns. By week's end, the hurt had hardened into resolve. I wouldn't crash their party or make a scene. No, my revenge would be smarter, deeper. It would expose the rot at the core of their perfect family. I'd gather the proof, the stories, the truths they'd buried. And when the time came, I'd let it all pour out, not with venom, but with the quiet force of a river breaking a dam. Because betrayal isn't just about what they did to you, it's about reclaiming the narrative they stole. You know that moment when the mask slips and you see the raw truth underneath? It's terrifying, exhilarating, and soul-crushing all at once. That's what confronting my parents felt like. I chose a neutral spot, the little coffee shop downtown, the one with the worn wooden tables and the smell of fresh scones. Neutral ground, I thought, but nothing about this was neutral. I arrived early, heart pounding like a drum in my chest. Mom and Dad walked in together, all smiles like we were catching up over lattes. "Emily, you look tired, honey, rough week," Mom said, sliding into the booth. Dad nodded, stirring sugar into his coffee. "Yeah, kiddo, spill it." I took a breath, steadying myself. The party, Sarah's engagement thing, why wasn't I there? The words hung in the air, heavy as storm clouds. Their faces flickered just a second, but I caught it. Mom's eyes darted to Dad, who cleared his throat. "Oh, that? It was just a casual get-together, Em, nothing big. We didn't want to bother you with the drive." Casual, there it was, the lie I'd rehearsed tearing apart in my mind 1,000 times. 100 people isn't casual, Mom. A band, toasts, I saw the photos, everyone was there except me. Dad shifted, uncomfortable. "Look, it's not like that. Sarah wanted to keep it intimate. You know how she is, stress about the wedding already. We figured you'd understand." Understand, the word hit like a slap. Understand being erased? You told Lisa I was stressed. You made excuses for why your own daughter wasn't worth inviting. My voice rose, but I kept it low, the coffee shop's hum masking the tremor. Mom reached for my hand, eyes welling up, crocodile tears, I thought bitterly. "We're sorry if it hurt you, sweetie, but families have favorites sometimes. Sarah's always been the one who, well, shines brighter. We didn't mean to make you feel left out." Favorites, there it was, out loud, the admission that sliced deeper than any exclusion. "So that's it, I've been the spare my whole life, the one you settle for when the star isn't around?" Tears burned my eyes, but I blinked them back, no weakness now. Dad sighed heavy. "Emily, you're overreacting. It's not about favorites, it's about what's best for everyone. Sarah's future marks a good match. We didn't want drama." Drama, me? That's what I was reduced to. I stood up, chair scraping loud. "This isn't drama, Dad. This is betrayal. You chose her over me again and again, and you lied to cover it." I walked out, the bell jingling like a mocking laugh. Outside, rain started falling, matching the storm inside. I drove home in a blur, replaying their words. Favorites, understand, best for everyone. It fueled the fire. The plan crystallized, then not petty payback, but a revelation. I'd collect the stories from those who'd witnessed their favoritism over the years. Aunts, uncles, old friends. I'd create a family album, not of pretty pictures, but of truths. And I'd present it at the wedding, the real one. Let them see how their shining star had dimmed everyone else. Because justice isn't about destroying, it's about illuminating the shadows. In the quiet aftermath of that coffee shop showdown, I found myself in uncharted waters, adrift but not drowning. No, this was the eye of the hurricane where everything sharpens into focus. Revenge, I'd learned, isn't a blaze that consumes you, it's a slow ember tended carefully until it roars. And mine, it would be a masterpiece of exposure, the kind that leaves no scars but etches truths into memory forever. First, I needed allies. I started small, texting Lisa, "Need your help, got stories about Mom and Dad's favoritism." Her reply was instant. "Girl, where do I start? Remember Aunt Clara's birthday? They skipped it for Sarah's recital." Aunt Clara, the one who'd raised me during Mom's me-time trips. I called her that night, voice steady. "Auntie, tell me about the times they overlooked you for Sarah." Her stories poured out like a dam breaking. The Christmas they forgot her gift but bought Sarah a pony. The family vacation where Clara was too old for the fun spots, left at the hotel while they fawned over Sarah's every whim. They always said it was innocent, Clara whispered, but it hurt Emily deep. One by one, the threads wove together. Cousin Mike shared how Dad pulled strings for Sarah's job but laughed off his resume. Uncle Tom recalled the will readings, Dad hinting Sarah would get the house since she's settling down. Even old neighbors chimed in via email. Your folks bragged about Sarah's wedding plans but never mentioned your nursing grad. I compiled it all into a digital scrapbook, not vengeful rants, but heartfelt letters, photos of forgotten moments, timelines of slights. Each page ended with a question: what family story got left untold? It was elegant, emotional, impossible to dismiss. But the real hook I'd presented at the wedding rehearsal dinner. Sarah had texted me an invite begrudging after Mom's guilt trip. Come if you want, make peace. Oh, I would. I'd stand up, toast in hand, and say to family the whole messy truth. Then share the book page by page, letting the room absorb the weight. Nights blurred as I polished it. Doubt crept in, whispers of is this too much? But then I'd remember their faces in the coffee shop, the casual cruelty. No, this was right. This was me taking back my voice, not shouting, but speaking so clearly they couldn't unhear it. The week before the wedding dragged like a shadow stretching across the floor, long, dark, and impossible to outrun. Invites had gone out, RSVPs confirmed, and my scrapbook sat on my desk like a loaded gun, pages crisp and waiting. Sarah called once, voice syrupy sweet. Excited for the rehearsal, sis? Mark's folks are dying to meet you. Dying to meet the black sheep, I thought, but replied coolly, wouldn't miss it. Mom tried too, leaving voicemails thick with apology. We talked, about the party. Come with an open heart, okay? Family's everything. Open heart. If only she knew mine was armored now, forged in the fire of their omissions. I spent those days tying loose ends. Mailed copies of the scrapbook to key guests, Aunt Clara, Uncle Tom, with notes, share if it feels right. Planted seeds, not bombs, and me, I got a new dress, simple, black, elegant, the kind that says I'm here and I'm not fatting. Hair done, makeup subtle, outwardly poised, inwardly a tempest. Doubts nipped at my heels. What if they laughed it off, called me dramatic, or worse, what if Sarah crumbled and Mom turned it on me? See, always causing trouble. But then I'd flip through the pages, reading the words of those who'd been sidelined too. Their pain mirrored mine, a chorus of quiet hurts. This wasn't just for me, it was for all of us, the steadies who'd held families together while the stars shone. The night before the rehearsal, I couldn't sleep, paced my apartment, replaying scenarios. The room would hush as I stood, glasses clinking to silence. Eyes on me, curious, wary, I'd begin soft. Family isn't a highlight reel, it's the outtakes, the mess, the love we almost missed. Then the stories, one by one, voices from the margins rising. By dawn, resolve settled like dew. This was my cliffhanger ending, the betrayal's twist into triumph. No more hiding in the wings. Tomorrow the stage was mine. And as the sun crested, painting my room gold, I whispered to the empty air, watch me shine. Rehearsal night arrived like a thunderclap, electric, unavoidable. The venue was a charming garden hall, strung with lights that twinkled like false stars. Guests milled about, laughter bubbling over champagne flutes. Sarah glowed in ivory lace, Mark at her side, all easy charm. Mom and Dad hovered, proud peacocks, nodding hellos. I slipped in late, dress whispering against the floor, eyes turned, whispers rippling. Emily's here. After the party thing, I smiled, serene, clutching my hidden scrapbook like a talisman. Dinner unfolded in agonizing slowness, toasts to love, speeches about forever. Then the mic passed to family. Aunt Clara went first, voice warm but edged. To Sarah and Mark, may your joys multiply. A pause, eyes flicking to me. And to the ones who make it possible, often unseen. Murmurs, Mom shifted uneasy. My turn, heart slamming, I stood, glass raised. The room quieted, a held breath. To Sarah and Mark, I began, voice steady as steel. May your life together be full of the honesty we all deserve. Pauses stretched, eyes locked. But tonight I want to share something, not just for them but for us, for family. I pulled out the book, holding it high, gasps echoed. This is our story, the whole one, the laughs, yes, but also the hurts, the times we felt invisible. I opened to the first page, Aunt Clara's words. Read them aloud, her lonely Christmases, the pony that never came. Tears glistened in her eyes, the room leaned in. Page 2, Uncle Tom's job snub, Dad's laugh echoing hollow. We build dreams for some, I said softly, but forget the builders. Dad's face paled, fork frozen midair. Sarah's eyes widened, pleading, not now, but I pressed on, gentle yet unyielding. Cousin Mike's tale, neighbor's notes, each one a pebble in the pond, ripples widening. This isn't blame, I said, voice cracking just enough to humanize. It's a mirror, we've all slipped, but love means seeing the shadows too. Mom stood, face crumpling. Emily, stop this, you're ruining, but Uncle Tom cut in. No, Karen, she's right, we've all seen it. The room fractured, nods, whispers, a cousin dabbing tears. Mark pulled Sarah close, whispering comfort, but her gaze met mine, shock melting to something raw, understanding. I closed the book throat tight, to truths that heal, and to us, all of us finally invited. Glasses rose, tentative clinks, not cheers but a reckoning. As I sat, the air hummed with unspoken shifts. Betrayal's blade had turned, cutting chains instead of flesh. In that moment, I wasn't the spare, I was the light exposing the dark. The days after the rehearsal blurred into a haze of fallout and fragile mending. The wedding went on beautiful, bittersweet. Sarah walked the aisle radiant, but her eyes found mine in the pews, a silent thank you amid the vows. Mom and Dad, they sat stiff, processing. No blow-up, just quiet stares across the reception hall. Texts came in waves. Aunt Clara, you gave us voices. Proud. Uncle Tom needed that kick, talking to your dad tomorrow. Even Sarah late that night, hurt like hell, but I get it, I'm sorry for everything. We met for coffee the next week, awkward hugs, tears flowing free. I didn't see how I took it all, she admitted. Mom and Dad's shadow making me blind. Mom called too, voice small. We were wrong, Emily, favorites, that's poison, forgive us. Not easy, but I did in pieces. Start by seeing me, I said, all of us. Dad followed gruff, you're no spare kid, never were, let's fix this. Changes rippled out, family dinners now included story shares, no more silences. Aunt Clara got her long overdue trip funded by all. Sarah and I, we're rebuilding, texts turning to calls, plans for sister weekends. It's messy, real, no fairy tale fix. But the air's lighter, breaths deeper. Me, I walk taller now, that scrapbook, it's on my shelf, a reminder, pain forges strength. I even started a journal, turning hurts into hope. Work thrives, friends notice the glow. Betrayal broke me open, but revenge, truth's gentle blade, let the light in. As the dust settles on this chapter of my life, one truth stands clear as dawn. Family isn't a crown to hoard, but a circle to widen. We chase perfection, the shining stars, the flawless toasts, and forget the constellation that makes the night sky breathe. Betrayal stings because it echoes our deepest fears, not enough, unseen, unloved. But here's the quiet power, it doesn't end there. My story, it's a whisper to anyone listening. Don't let the hurt harden you into stone. Let it hollow you, then fill with fire. Speak your truths, not in rage, but in reach. Expose the shadows, not to blind, but to guide. Because justice isn't tearing down, it's building bridges from the rubble. I've learned self-worth isn't gifted by applause, it's claimed in the mirror, day by gritty day. Surround yourself with those who see your full spectrum, not just the highlights. And remember the greatest revenge? Living unapologetically, your light undimmed. If you're out there nursing a wound from those who should hold you closest, hear this, you're invited to your own story. To the mess, the magic, the mending, step into it. Shine, and watch how the world rearranges to make room. Fade to black, but not to end, to begin again.